All right, I say we get started, Heather.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, everybody, so very much for joining us today, December 11th, for the Lock and Charge new product webinar. We have some exciting new products that have released for our K-12 and higher ed customers. And we'll be going over our Fuel Smart Locker system as well as the Bolt 12 charging station. A few things for kind of our agenda as well as rules for today are we have 30 minutes on the webinar, including time at the end for us to exchange some questions. There is an icon at the top or on your screen that says Q&A. Please put any questions you may have in there. You will be muted. Our webinar today is recorded and we will share this with you after the meeting. And yeah,
All
there is
right.
our icon there. Yes, like it. Lock and Charge team today that's going to be on the call. Myself, Heather Sledge, I'm our inside account manager, as well as Eric Blumthal, our senior account executive, as well as Stacy Bliss. She's not pictured, but she is our marketing manager. So we are on the call with you today.
Well, thank you, Heather. And as Heather mentioned today, we're going to focus on our two new releases and review popular use cases for them in both K-12 and higher education. Once again, type any questions in the Q&A area of Teams, and we will pause twice actually during the webinar to review them. All right. So I want to give a brief shout out and say thanks because I noticed some of the people who signed up for today are Lock and Charge customers. But if you're less familiar with Lock and Charge, here's a very quick primer. Lock and Charge was founded over 25 years ago by Paul Simons. He was an Australian teacher who recognized the need for a better way to secure and ultimately charge, manage, and distribute student and staff computers. And our thought leadership over the years for driving efficiencies and physical device management really falls into two categories. First, when you see pictured here, charging carts and charging stations, which are most popular in classrooms where students have access to laptops and tablets, but the devices always stay in the classroom. They're not bringing them home. The second category we're known for are smart locker systems, which are intelligent network connected solutions that are more popular in middle schools, high schools, and universities. While I'm discussing our two new releases, I know that we have both K-12 and colleges either attending and or signed up to see the recording afterwards. So I'll make sure to cover both environments. First, we'll discuss the use cases for our Fuel Smart Locker system, and then I'll review our unique Bolt 12 charging station and its use cases. So let's start reviewing the Fuel Smart Locker system. Fuel is a network connected smart locker with a self-serve kiosk app and a robust cloud application called the Fuel Portal. Now, smart lockers aren't new to us. We've been selling smart locker systems for 5-6 years. But this most recent release has by far the most momentum for us, primarily due to the addition of the self-serve kiosk. Our Fuel Smart Lockers are not a fit for every district, but when they are a fit, they drive a ton of value. We work primarily with high performing and forward thinking high schools and middle schools where teachers, media specialists, and help desk staff experience frustration and anxiety from being pulled away every day from their primary responsibilities, reacting to lost, forgotten, broken, and uncharged student Chromebooks. These manual processes that districts are using for Chromebook management result in a lot of wasted staff time, inaccurate tracking, low accountability, not to mention classroom disruption and lost learning time. But when districts invest in Fuel, daily loaners and broken device swaps are handled automatically through a secure self-serve student kiosk, easy for me to say, that is easy as buying a soda from a vending machine. The fuel self-serve kiosk gives teachers, media specialists, and help desk staff all that wasted time back to focus on what really matters, while it empowers students to resolve their Chromebook problems quickly and in a self-serve environment and get back to their desk in less than 5 minutes. Every fuel transaction is recorded in the fuel portal, so tracking and accountability are dramatically improved. Compared to staff-centric manual processes, the student-driven fuel kiosk system is more efficient, it's more secure, and it's more accountable. In middle schools and high schools, the primary use cases for fuel are first, issuing daily loaners, and these are for students who left their Chromebook at home. Quick note, daily loaners are typically expected to be returned at the end of the day if they left their personal one at home. And if the student doesn't return it, the fuel system will automatically notify the help desk so they can work to get that back quickly. The other use case for fuel is swapping a broken Chromebook for a functional loaner or replacement. And lastly, just providing a secure place to quickly charge a Chromebook that is uncharged. So those are the three main use cases. Other K-12 use cases include providing loaners for staff, or providing a laptop and courseware for substitute teachers as they come in. In higher education, the primary use cases are secure charging and loaners. So as an example, St. Thomas University in Miami has a Fuel 15 in their library that was actually donated to them by a graduating class. And all they're using it for is a value-added service to law students that go to the library. So they have a secure place to charge their tablet or their laptop or phone, while they're diving into books and other library resources. The law library recently instituted a policy also to provide loaner iPads or laptops on an as-needed basis to law students. And rather than just having them sitting in a cabinet behind the front desk, they're going to be adding a couple of smart lockers for that as well. Another example is I'm working with Florida State University. They did a student survey about how they could improve the student experience at FSU. And one of the top asks was having a secure place to charge their personal devices. You know, colleges are BYO, so they're bringing their own laptops and tablets and phones. But students have multiple needs uh, in multiple areas of the university to want to be able to securely charge their stuff and not have to worry about it getting lost or stolen or charging it in an inconvenient place. So they're looking to put Fuel 15s in every dining hall in the student union, and they do have some specialized laptops for certain classes that they're also going to be using it to issue loaners as needed if students need a higher powered laptop. That said, um, that's a very high level overview on the fuel towers. Are there any questions? Stacy, any? You might be on mute.
I was. Apologies. Questions have come over here yet.
Okay, no worries. We'll move on. So we've covered our latest smart locker release. So let's focus on the new Bolt 12 charging station. Before I do a little history, our most popular wall-mounted charging station over the years has been the Putnam. Putnam comes in two models, Putnam 8, Putnam 16, so it charges 8 or 16 devices. But what makes it so popular is the Putnam is designed specifically to fast charge modern USB-C PD devices. It has integrated USB-C ports, so it eliminates the old school charging bricks and cable management headaches. And it works right out of the box. So that's a primary reason people like it. But also, if you look at the pictures, you see some red and green lights. And that's unique to Putnam as well. It has external charging status LEDs. So students and teachers can easily see which laptops or tablets are fully charged, which ones are still charging, and it'll actually show white if someone forgot to plug a device in. So it makes accessing the right devices at the right time a very efficient and convenient experience. That said, we had a lot of customer requests for a Putnam-like device to securely store, charge, and distribute devices with a smaller form factor than laptops and tablets. So things like cell phones and portable power banks. And that's what led to the release of the Bolt 12. Like the Putnam Station, the Bolt is designed from the ground up to fast charge modern USB-C PD devices. So no bricks, no cable management headaches, and it's got those external red and green charging status LEDs. The Bolt, unlike other charging stations, is not designed to support Chromebooks, iPads, and laptops. It's specifically designed for phones and portable charging banks. So it serves very specific niches in the market, and we'll talk about a few of those right now. First use case for the Bolt is secure phone charging. So in higher education, there is a tremendous opportunity in when they have associated med schools and hospitals. Outside of uh, the education market, we sell a lot of bolts into hospitals, and a lot of times they have hospital issued phones to perform critical tasks. So, like you see in this picture on the right, you'll see a bolt at every nurse station to provide not only convenient access, but in an environment where life or death can be determined by minutes or seconds. It's really important that when a nurse grabs a phone, that it is fully charged and won't go dead in the next 10 minutes. Um, when we're talking about securely charging phones, I don't think we'll ever see use cases for providing a convenience for students to charge their phones. So that's not a focus of ours. Um, in fact, a lot of the districts I'm working with are, making phones illegal, or they can't take them out during the day. But I am working with a few districts for phones that want to put a bolt in the teacher's lounge as a value-added convenience, or putting one in the IT department, because a number of districts will issue district issued phones to their teaching staff, and that's preloaded with the apps that they'll be using. And I see IT departments wanting to use Bolt as a staging area for phones before they get issued to teachers. So they can image them and they're fully charged, and then they're ready to deploy. Where we do see popular use case for the Bolt 12 and K-12 is to have the Bolt in the library with the media specialist or at the help desk. So when students show up to school with an uncharged Chromebook, as they do every single day, rather than loaning them a Chromebook, you can loan them a portable power bank. So we don't sell iPads, laptops, and we don't sell power banks. But as long as the power bank supports your target device's charging requirements and is a modern USB-C PD device, then you'd be fine using it in the Bolt 12. I'm showing this Lenovo Go USB-C PD power bank, because that's a popular example that works well with the Bolt 12 and has been certified by our product managers. We've also got some districts using and hospitals using it with MOFIs. But as long as it fits into the slots and uh, does support USB-C PD, then you're fine. Any questions there?
No questions, Eric.
Well, you know what that leads us to? That leads us to having 14 minutes of time that we can give back to our attendees. Um, so I want to thank everyone for attending today's session. You know, we're looking and experimenting a little and doing these little mini uh, webinars on a regular basis. So, you know, I'd encourage you to look out for them and you know, when you can attend, great, and when you can't, you'll get a recording of the session automatically. I am not leaving my contact information on the screen because Heather, as our inside account manager, is responsible for the whole country. So depending on where you're located, she's the best person to reach out if you're interested in exploring our solutions further.
Eric,
Yes.
we did have one question come through. What kind of
Okay.
devices fit the Bolt besides the phones?
So, and I'll go back. That's a great question. So with the Bolt is designed for phones or portable power banks. Uh, and Heather, I don't know if you can look up the
Yeah,
device dimensions.
I was gonna tell you
Eh,
guys that the shelf and rack dimension there inside the bolt is 3.39 high, 1.08 long, and 6.57 wide.
And can you put that in the chat?
Absolutely. That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
But it's, you know, the Bolt once again is designed for small form factors. So but you know, we talk about this stuff on a daily basis. So if you have questions about specific device types or you want us to make a recommendation for devices, let us know. And we can determine very quickly if it would be a good fit for the Bolt. And you know, if not, we do have, you know, alternatives like the Putnam. But you know, typically any iPhone or Android phone should be able to fit in there fine. When it comes to power banks, there are so many different power banks that we just recommend, you know, making sure that the dimensions match because some of these power banks are very square and very thick. But power banks like this Lenovo, which is a 65-watt power bank. You know, that one actually fits fine. And it's actually a little bit longer than our dimensions suggest, but this is kind of our go forward. If you haven't purchased any yet, this is a recommended path because it works really well.
No additional questions. Thanks, Eric.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. And, you know, hope to see you again in our next session.
Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. Oh, so
All right. We have
admitted.
started.